have a list of people who I will remember for the rest of my life. They inspired me in all the paths I chose. I don't know about everyone else, but I would love to end up on someone else's list of inspiring people. In today's society, there's lots of ways to influence and inspire, whether that be social media, school presentations, or relationships. A part of the human experience is being family to another person. Whether you're a family friend, aunt, uncle, or parent, family is a method of influence that is both common to everyone and profoundly important. We know everyone represents some sort of family to someone else. We will all influence other people as family and be influenced by family. It is important we know the extent and reasoning behind our influence. By its nature, most will be some form of extended family to more people than immediate family. So, I will examine the extent to which extended family has an influence on the socio-psychological development in nuclear families. I will discuss what the nuclear family is, how emotional expression is nurtured by the extended family, and the value of social interaction in child socio-psychological development. I will start by clarifying what I mean by nuclear family. After the shift towards one-unit suburban housing in the mid-20th century, the term nuclear family was established to mean a set of partners and their children, living in the same household especially. So, in the context of this discussion, just know that when I refer to family, I'm referring to a small group of people all living together. Extended family members refer to family members that live outside the home of the nuclear family. Exploring the cooperative influence of blended families on children, meaning large families that all live together, is certainly valid, but this is not the focus of my research. So why is extended family so important to child development in nuclear families? Well, adults have a grand emotional impact on children. Stephanie Hull leads the Developmental and Educational Psychology Department at the University of Vienna. She focuses her research on emotional development, emotional expression, and the observation of neurorhythms. Hull collected pictures of faces from paid adult actors who were told to display either happy or angry faces. They then asked child actors to act angry or happy. The researchers then composed a stimulus vignette, which they displayed to each participant during an MRI scan. Participants included 27 children who were 6 years old on average, and 18 adults who were 24-year-olds on average. The MRI scan took pictures of the blood flow in the participant's brain to find if there was a physiological difference in emotional processing between adolescents and adults. They found that children had more blood flow to the emotional processing and memory parts of the brain when observing emotional expressions than adults did. These kids were putting a lot of resources toward interpreting, responding, and remembering the emotion of the faces shown. This was especially true when shown angry adult faces. As a people pleaser kid, this makes a lot of sense. Growing up, I fixated on adult emotional expressions. I put a lot of mental energy towards the memory and imitation of certain facial expressions. I used adults as a constant model for how emotions should display themselves. It makes sense to me that other young children act similarly given new emotional material. Because of these results, we know our capacity to inspire children as a family member mostly exists not in the grand embarkment of philosophical ideas, but by serving as a positive revolving model for emotion from moment to moment. Social contact will influence a child's emotional processing and emotional memory, but does this really affect their long-term development? Philip Clever is a master of social work and an independent researcher. Clever performed a case study of 15 families assessing the strength of their family bonds. Clever theorizes that viable emotional contact with the extended family will reduce anxiety. Clever thinks that if he is right, this reduction in anxiety will produce individuals that end up developing with a lower psychological symptom list. Clever conducts in-depth examinations of 10 nuclear families. He first evaluated the extent of extended family contact. To accomplish this, he looks at everything about these families from funeral attendance to divorce over the course of 15 years. He then used the nuclear family functioning scale to quantitatively assess the psychological symptoms experienced by the family. Adults with higher extended family contact functioned better socially, and the children had fewer health problems, both mental and physical. Clever notes that openness with extended family likely also had a confounding influence on these health outcomes. I lump being a family friend with the extended family. This next study examines the extent that the general community can benefit parents and their children. Leah Femmold is a professor of community health sciences at the School of Public Health, University of California, Berkeley. She focuses on the way socioeconomic status, health, and development are interconnected. The article examines to what extent the Educational Inicial program was a success. In this program, they paid a group of parent supporters to aid in childcare throughout 30 underprivileged communities. She compared the difference between the communities that had parental support and those that did not. Those with the parental support had significantly more social development, as measured by cognitive indexing, an index that tests the capacity of various types of brain development, from verbal development, perceived development, and other miscellaneous qualifiers of development. They found that the community-supported groups decreased rates of maternal depression and noted there was an educational element to the success of these programs. When supported directly by community, parents can absorb new parenting ideas and implement them. So, even outside the context of being an aunt or an uncle, you can benefit parents and their children as a family friend. So we know in these two case studies, community has had a big impact on development outcomes. But can this be extrapolated to a broader evidence base outside of a case study? Well, Ji-Hee Kang is a sociology professor and behaviorist, and he says yes. He performed an LA-based study on disadvantaged neighborhoods and the effect extended family involvement can help with behavioral problem outcomes. Kang uses 2000 census data and the Los Angeles Family and Neighborhood Study to determine family involvement across a wide demographic of Los Angelites. Kang then uses the Behavioral Problems Index to establish an association between breadth of family contact and the presence of behavioral issues. He finds that those who were raised with more extended family contact exhibited less behavioral issues despite being part of a disadvantaged neighborhood. As family members, we have the power to change the environment a child grows up in and therefore positively impact their emotional development. Clever, Femmold, and Kang all found that when extended family or even community members provide a safe space for a child's social and emotional modeling behaviors, it allows for proper socio-psychological development in the long term. Why does this matter? We found that positive interactions with extended families have a large influence on the socio-psychological development of children in nuclear families. We found that community support can have a duly important effect on child development outcomes. By interacting with the next generation of nuclear children, we can influence their emotions and their environment to be positive, decrease their behavioral problems, and improve their psychological health throughout their life. We have a finite time on Earth. Inspiration has a uniquely immortal effect. Becoming more conscious of the pervasive and ubiquitous influence of our interactions, especially with children, will allow us to more effectively raise the bar for humanity. Whether we're in the microcosm of family or not, I encourage you to self-reflect and examine what influence you're putting out into the world. It matters.